I'm in Chicago and I'm going to spend the next 3 nights on a train, an Amtrak train called Texas Eagle. We're all boarding now and it leaves in about 20 minutes, so here we go. Texas Eagle is the longest passenger train in America, and it's rare for anyone to ride all the way from Chicago to Los Angeles. I had kind of a nervous sense of anticipation as I boarded and found my room. Here it is, my roomette for the next 3 nights. I was settling in okay, but the journey only really started when the sleeping car attendant came to say hi and explain how everything worked.
How many of us are there? Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome aboard train 21421 Texas Eagle, headed to San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio will be the final stop for this train. If you are traveling past San Antonio to other stops in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, or California, the car that you boarded in, along with another car in the train, will be detached. It will be attached to the back of another train. Our first station stop this afternoon, departing Chicago, will be Joliet, Illinois, followed by Pontiac, Bloomington, Normal, Lincoln, Springfield, Carlinville, Alton, St. Louis, Missouri, Arcadia Valley, Poplar Bluff, Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, Little Rock, Melbourne, Arkadelphia, Hope, Texarkana, Marshall, Texas, Longview, Mineola, Dallas, Fort Worth, Cleveland, McGregor, Temple, Taylor, Austin, San Marcos, again, final stop of San Antonio, Texas.
And for a small percentage of us passengers today, that's only the first part. We'll join the Sunset Limited and continue another day and night all the way across Texas and through to Los Angeles, California.
And again, good afternoon. Welcome aboard train 21421 Texas Eagle.
We've been going for about an hour now. We're seeing all these beautiful places south of Chicago. And I got some cool facts about Texas Eagle for you. This is why this is such a crazy undertaking. It goes 2,728 miles. That is the second longest train in all of North and South America. There's one Canadian train that has more miles, goes longer, but this is by far the longest passenger train in America. It takes 65 hours if you go what I'm doing, which is Chicago to LA. The other way is only 61 hours. Every day there's a train called Texas Eagle between Chicago and San Antonio, Texas. Both directions every day. There's also another daily train between Los Angeles and New Orleans every day. That's called Sunset Limited. 3 days a week only, the Texas Eagle joins in San Antonio with the Sunset Limited and continues all the way to LA. So you can only do this 3 times a week. There are 43 stations if you do the whole thing. It goes through 7 states, one of them being Texas, which takes forever because Texas is so huge. Of all the people that ride Texas Eagle, less than 4% actually ride end to end from LA to Chicago or the other way around. So getting a roomette on America's longest train is a very, very unusual thing, I think, for anybody, and even for Amtrak passengers. Almost nobody does this. The fare is $232. That's in a coach seat. If you want to upgrade to a roomette, you have to pay an extra $810. So this cost me $1,042. That includes 7 meals. So it's pricey, but if you're going from Chicago to Los Angeles and you just want to see all kinds of different amazing scenery, this is the way to do it. I don't have to worry about driving or anything. I don't have to worry about meals. I don't have to worry about accommodations. All I have to do is just sit here and look at the scenery. And I want to show you the roomette a little bit and all of the features of this roomette because there's quite a lot going on in this very small space where I'll be spending the next 3 days. So it's for either 1 or 2 people. It's got 2 seats. The seats I think are quite wide and quite tall, so they're really comfortable for anybody. And if you're riding alone, you get to put your feet up on the other seat. And the seats have their own kind of separate controls, and they're different. So the first seat has a power outlet, the only power outlet in the roomette. I've been using it to power a dash cam I've got sitting in the window, and for the last hour or so it has been continuous, so no problems with the power supply. It has a temperature control. I put it on all the way warm just to see if I could tell a difference, and I haven't been able to tell a difference, so I don't know if that actually works. And it has its adjustable light. The other seat has an adjustable light. It also has a music control. Unfortunately, it does not seem to work. I think theoretically, or back in the day, it would have had like channel 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then off. But I can't hear any music now. This seat also has a ceiling controls. There's the regular 2 ceiling lights, and then there's a little blue night light you can use. And it has a call button to call the attendant. So this thing right here is not just a handy how-to chart, how to use the roomette, but it actually pulls out into a little table. It has this little chessboard on it. Mine seems to have crumbs all over it. This roomette has 2 complimentary waters, and as I understand it, I get all the water I want. There's like a bunch of bottles of water somewhere, so I just ask somebody and take all the water I want. There are 2 coat hooks. There's a mirror. There's this interesting real thin closet. It has 1 hanger in it. It's got 4 towels on it, a little space above to put stuff. Up on the ceiling there's a vent, and it has a little air control thing. I think this just controls the strength of the air, not the actual temperature of it. There's also 1 more light up on the ceiling, and it's a light just for the top bunk. Now, speaking of the top bunk, there are 2 beds in here. So all this converts into a space for 2 people to sleep, up to 2 people. So you can totally cocoon yourself with the curtains. The window curtains close if you want, and the door curtain closes. And also, the door has a latch. You latch from the inside so nobody can get in. But when you leave, you can't lock it from the outside. So if you leave to go explore the train, your room will be open. But don't worry about it. Nothing will happen. There's even your own personal trash can stuck beside one of the seats. All that and a box of tissues. And they just made an announcement reminding people, that I didn't know this, that there's no observation car on this train. So there's a cafe car. We can go and get cafe, and there's little tables there where you can eat when you go there. But you cannot just hang around and watch the scenery. This is where you watch the scenery.
Ladies and gentlemen, next station stop will be Pontiac, Illinois next.
As usual, part of me wished I were getting off the train to spend time in the towns we were stopping at, but all I could do was dream about them from my seat. The first actual order of business was the first of 7 meals I'll be having on this trip. The first few are going to be from Amtrak's so-called flexible dining menu. Here's the flexible dining menu. I get to choose from these from my first dinner, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think. So breakfast, you have continental breakfast, buttermilk pancakes, and an omelet. For lunch and dinner, you got beef burgundy, kofta kebabs, which is vegetarian, chicken enchiladas, glazed salmon, and chicken parmesan. So you get all of the soft drinks and coffee and stuff that you want, milk, orange juice, tea, all that kind of stuff. They also have beer, wine, and liquor. You get 1 free alcohol drink with your meal if you have a sleep like I do. And I pledge to you that I will get a different meal, a different type of food each time that I can on this route, just so we can get a good overview of Amtrak food. I monitored Amtrak's website to keep an eye on my train's schedule and any delays. It said that not only were we on time now, but we'd be arriving tomorrow night in San Antonio over an hour early. That seemed ambitious, but we'll see. Before dinner, the next stop was the capital of Illinois, and our first chance to step off the train for a smoke or some fresh air, depending on the person.
San Antonio, down this way, San Antonio.
All right, this is Springfield, Illinois. They're allowing us to get off the train for 5 or 10 minutes to kind of walk around. I love these parts because you get to actually get out and see a little bit of the local place. You don't really get to wander around too much. All you get to see really is the station and the train, the full length of the train, and you get some fresh air. So it's actually nice. So this is the land of Lincoln, Springfield, Illinois, the home of Abraham Lincoln. Wow. The sign says that Lincoln, when he was killed, his last ride, his remains were on a train riding back to here. Okay, it's a little bit before 6 p.m. and they just brought me my food that I ordered, and I said I wanted to eat it in my roomette. So here we go. And here is the kofta kebab. That looks pretty good to me. All the rice and the chickpeas and all the cashews and raisins. Also comes with its own salad and ranch dressing and probably a roll. Yeah, a roll. Got some butter. Oh, already liquid. And Space Dust IPA. Plastic cutlery and a big napkin. Southern Illinois sun in my face. It's time, it's time. Quite tasty. It may just be like a reheated meal, but it tastes good to me. This is great. I was actually talking recently to an Amtrak attendant. I was asking about what is exactly flexible dining, this menu, because I've never had it before. I said, is it sort of like halfway between the cafe, like, heated up cheeseburgers and stuff, and the traditional dining? And they said, no, it's a bunch of nonsense. I think you'd be better off at the cafe. I don't know what they were talking about, because, I mean, you can't get this at the cafe. This is good. It may not be the traditional dining, but I know I'm easy to please when it comes to food, but pleased I am. The salad is hardly a salad, it's just lettuce and a couple of tomatoes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next station stop here in a few minutes will be Alton, Illinois. Alton will be next.
gotta say, sitting here watching the sunset of the southern Illinois countryside roll by, eating that kind of spicy kebab with the beer and everything, it was a little slice of heaven. It was really good. So next thing he said, the announcer said, was St. Louis. St. Louis is coming up next. We're gonna be there for a little while, so we're gonna be able to get off of the train, stretch our legs. Looking forward to that. This is kind of the first big moment of the trip. St. Louis is kind of a milestone.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, again, our next station stop here in a few minutes will be St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis coming up next. It's also a servicing stop and a crew point change, also arriving a little bit early. Please remain on the platform, train side, in between the two yellow safety strips on our side of the platform. Again, St. Louis, Missouri, Gateway Station. We'll be next here in just a few minutes.
Okay, we're here in St. Louis, Missouri. Our first stop in Missouri and our first big city since leaving Chicago. And this is a long smoke break, about 45 minutes scheduled. It's actually 55 minutes because we arrived early. So they said we can get out and wander around and wander around the platform anyway, not wander around St. Louis.
What is that?
It's a camera, see?
Oh, wow.
It's Janae.
It's a really nice camera too.
Yeah,
see.
I just
Also,
bought it.
I'm sure you can put it on the TV so you can see it and.
Well,
and all
put
that
you
special
on
stuff.
TV.
Oh
You want to be on YouTube?
no. So you like it's like you live.
No. It's not live. It's not live.
He's gonna edit it later.
I'm gonna edit it later and upload it to YouTube.
Wow.
So say hi.
Make
Say
sure
hi
you
to
make-
the
Make
people.
sure you make me look cute now.
Well, you're already doing that yourself. Aww. So I'm gonna go way up here if they let me. I think they're refueling or something. I'm gonna go up here and see if they let me get a shot of the front of the train, which I've not seen yet because they kind of ushered us onto the train at the last minute in Chicago. And it's real cool. It's about 65 or 70 degrees or something. And there's a cool lightning show over here. Go down to the other end and see if we can see the lightning show. Ooh. I kind of have this fear in the back of my mind that the train is going to leave me when I get off and walk around the platform like this. Especially I'm down here way at the end of the platform beyond the train. But, you know, in this case, I got my insulin with me. If the sky would stay like this lighting, and the temperature would stay like this, I could just stay out here for, you know, forever. Texas Eagle showing us magic already. There's 2 more stops in Missouri, which will be kind of this evening. I'll be awake for those, but it will be dark. And then, through like the dead of night, we cut kind of southwest diagonally down all the way through Arkansas. And there are several stops in Arkansas, but we'll all be sleeping through them, I hope, if all goes well. And then we wake up tomorrow morning. First thing when the sunrise hits, we'll have just crossed over into Texas. And we'll be in Texas for about 7 weeks. No, it's a long time. So that's kind of the bulk of the trip. That's why it's the Texas Eagle. We're just leaving St. Louis, and sometimes like the electrical system on the train kind of goes at like a half capacity or something like that. So like one of the ceiling lights is out and the power outlet doesn't work here in the roomette. So if you're riding this train and you really want to power something continuously, like say a dash cam stuck in the window, which would be a silly thing to do, but some people do it, note that sometimes the power goes off and you can't do it.
For your convenience, ladies and gentlemen, the Texas Eagle is a smoke-free environment. As with all public transportation, there's absolutely no smoking on board. The next opportunity where you'll be able to step off the train, stretch your legs, grab some fresh air along with that cigarette will be in Little Rock, Arkansas. The estimated arrival time into Little Rock is approximately 3 a.m. We will not be making any station stop announcement during our quiet hours, ladies and gentlemen. Also at this time, ladies and gentlemen, the cafe car has closed for service. The cafe car reopens at 6:30 a.m. Announcements will resume at 7 a.m. We are currently running on schedule, ladies and gentlemen. Poplar Bluff, we're estimated to arrive at approximately 11:35. Walnut Ridge, approximately 12:40. Little Rock, Arkansas, approximately 3 a.m. Malvern, approximately 3:55. Arkadelphia, 4:10. Hope, 5:25. Texarkana, 5:55. And Marshall, Texas, approximately 7:30 a.m. We hope you enjoy your ride, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. And once again, we thank you for choosing Amtrak.
Time to make the bed. The attendant Janae said she would do it for me, but I wanted to do it myself just for fun. So here we go. I got towels here for you. When you're finished with the towel, put it in this gigantic community wet towel bag, which is kind of in the way right now. A little shelf here, a few soaps. Warm. Alright, the shower was pretty good. Well, that's it. So, good night. See you tomorrow morning. We'll be in Texas. Blood sugar was low, so I had a snack I took from the Metropolitan Lounge in Chicago Union Station and turned my light out for the first night sleeping aboard the Texas Eagle.
Our quiet hours on the train, and again, this is our morning announcement. We are currently making our way through the state of Texas, where our next station stop is going to be Marshall. Estimated arrival time for Marshall is 7:45. We were still due to arrive in San Antonio tonight over an hour early, but there was a long day ahead in Texas before that. I wandered over to the dining car for breakfast. Good morning, I had a good sleep, very dark and deep and relaxing. Woke up a couple of times when it was just dark and quiet and nice. So it's breakfast time. For this flexible dining, you just come to the dining car and they don't seat you with other people like they do in traditional dining. You just sit. I got my own table here. There's hardly any other people here really right now. Maybe they're still sleeping. I don't know. But got pancakes and sausage and coffee, all included in the ticket. And it's Texas. We're in Texas right now, and it's sunny. It's 8 a.m. The sun's just coming up, and I don't know this part of Texas at all. So things are good so far here on Texas Eagle. We're right on time, and they still say we're going to get to San Antonio an hour and 14 minutes early. So let's see what the heated up Amtrak pancakes are like.
bit chewy, but the taste is good.
Yeah, this is Longview, Texas.
Hey, we're in Longview, Texas. The first time I've gotten off the train in many, many hours since yesterday. And it's good to get off the train and stretch your legs. We just got held up by a freight train for a while, 20 or 30 minutes or something, so I wonder if we're now going to be late. It's possible.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, approaching the next station stop is Dallas, Texas.
Do we have a break?
It's a small one, just don't go too far.
No time to go to this, like inside the station. I'm not gonna risk it. When you say that, I'm not gonna risk it. Okay, okay. Another big stop. We're in Dallas, Texas. It is about noon. We're right on time, I think. We've got like a 5-minute, 10-minute break here. It's to walk out and stretch your legs. I can feel the Texas sun here. It's not super hot, but it's hotter than it has been. This is a really big, nice station, big, nice area. It's a Union station. There's like the Trinity Railway Express, something, I don't know what that is, but it's apparently very Texan. There's this gigantic tower, which I don't know what it is, but I find it super impressive. So this is kind of nice to be here. I'm looking forward to like the big kind of sweeping views of Texas, especially when we get further out west in western Texas. Total, we're going to be in Texas, I think like 31 hours. It's a long, long, long time. So anyway, greetings from Texas. Got to get back on the train.
Have a good one, buddy.
Thanks. I watched all the Texas towns go by on the way to our next stop, Fort Worth, and fretted about something that I hadn't planned for very well on this trip. It's good to tip the attendants and the dining room staff. I did not bring that much cash with me, and we're going to stop here in Fort Worth for a little while. I'm hoping I can wander around and find an ATM. We're in Fort Worth. The schedule I printed out from the internet is not an official Amtrak schedule because they don't publish those anymore. But it's been exactly right the whole time so far. And we're like an hour early from what that schedule said. We're supposed to arrive here and then have an hour-long break. We're actually an hour earlier and nobody seems to know. I asked Janae, and she's not used to this route, so she doesn't know either. She thinks we're supposed to be here an hour later. I'm not sure if I have time to go to the station and find an ATM or look for an ATM. I'm not going to chance it. I'm not going to risk being left behind, because they will leave you behind if you don't get back on. I better get back on.
Time to go?
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. It's confusing. I thought we were supposed to have like 40 minutes here, but
But
apparently
they never
not.
said anything, huh?
No.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll go back to my room now.
I'm confused and Janae is confused.
Where's Janaea?
She went up there, I think.
She's upstairs. Okay.
All right, it has been confirmed. We are 55 minutes early getting to Fort Worth, and we're going to be here for another hour and a half. So I've got time to wander around and see if I can find an ATM to get some cash to leave for tips. Amtrak has a service called Heartland Flyer, and it goes between Fort Worth and up to Oklahoma City. I think this is it, arriving from Oklahoma City. Success. I got $40 minus plus a $4.50 ATM fee, but I got it. And here's the outside, the front of Fort Worth Station. We'll go across the street so we can get a good shot of it. There you go, Fort Worth, Texas, Central Station. Greyhound, Amtrak, buses, and local light rail, and an ATM. And now the big question, is my train still here? What's this? Cool old train. The real heyday of Texas trains. Look at that. This is a really nice little station area. Friendly and inviting, and pleasant to be in. Now, the increasingly fraught question, is my train still here? I know I've still got an hour left, but you know, one dumb mistake and you're stuck in Fort Worth, as they say. I think that's the town motto. Okay, we made it back to the train okay. We still have an hour here in Fort Worth, so I'm going to have lunch here in the dining car. And I ask you to cast your eyes downward to see the quality of my delicious chicken enchilada. I tried to order a beer, but it turns out that beers are not included with lunch, only with dinner. Anyway, here we go. Ow, it's hot. Just so you know, you can sign up for my free email newsletter, and each week I'll send you travel news and background information and a link to the newest video before it's actually published on YouTube. And special thanks to my patrons on Patreon who are supporting this channel and my travel videos. If you would like to join up for as little as $1 a month, you can help give me a vote of confidence for the surprisingly intense work that it takes to make all these videos. Especially thanks to Omeyer, Ray Nichols, and Will Phillips. And now back to the show. All right, looks all right. Goes well with a Diet Coke. Hotter than hell. It's a spot here in Texas, Mexican food. We're heading south now from Fort Worth down to San Antonio, and I wanted to kind of give a couple thoughts about this train. First of all, the difference between a coach seat and the roomette. The roomette is nicer, you get more room, you have privacy, but in that privacy also comes kind of isolation. There's a little bit less less of interacting with other people or even hearing other people interact, which is all kind of part of the social scene of the coach seats. If you're here for the scenery, if you like riding trains just to see the different scenes and the landscapes, in a roomette, you only get this side, only get whatever side of the train you're on. Unless the person across the hall happens to have their curtains open or door open and you can see through a little bit to the other side. Although it's kind of creepy to be staring into other people's roomettes. In coach, you can see your side, but you can fairly easily see the windows on the other side of the train. So another little difference. Now, it's like 94 degrees here in this part of Texas today. This air conditioner cooler thing that I said doesn't really seem to have any effect yesterday, it seems to. I put it on hot last night and it slowly, gradually got slightly warm. It's subtle, but it did get warmer. And then I put it on cool today and it's okay today. I think the whole train is cooled, but I do think it has an effect here in the roomette. The biggest failing that I can see so far with this Texas Eagle is that there's no observation car, no lounge car. I don't understand why. It seems like that would be almost priority number one if you're going to have an Amtrak long distance train. Others have them. An observation car, I mean, why not? Why not? I don't know. I don't know if this train is newer than the one on my recent Southwest Chief trip, or if it's because this is a sleeper car instead of a coach, but I found the bathrooms more modern and friendly. So if you saw my Southwest Chief video, you'll see that the facilities here are clearly modern and brighter and kind of more friendly than this kind of Soviet gulag feel of the ones on the Southwest Chief. So there's the toilet and the flush. As normal. It has this nice little sink area, although it is tough to use the sink and not splash on the ground. So you have to be kind of careful if you're doing anything like that, washing your face or something. One thing I recommend is you can push this to the side, maybe have a little more room to work with. See? A little pro bonus tip for you. So you press the thing for the water. It is warm, in fact. Maybe it's because we're in Texas. Always plenty of soap and paper towel and a mirror. Here's one touch that I really like about this place is that the trash can has a simple little knob you push up. So you don't have to touch the gross stuff there. You just put it there, much cleaner. You've even got 2 outlets, which seems overkill, but overkill in a good way. Too many amenities, that's pretty good. By now we were running 30 minutes late, but they still said we'd be early to San Antonio. All right, we got a little step off the train here in Temple, Texas. Unfortunately, this smoke stop is so short that I don't really have time to go explore the old trains. We just have to admire them here from the platform. don't know how hectic the pace of your life is, but here's what's going on in my world this day, today. It's dinner time, and I had to make a choice. So here are my options. I had the kebabs last night. I had the chicken enchiladas today, so I don't want either of those. I don't want the chicken parmesan because I just had chicken. I'm not really a big fan of beef and steak and stuff, so the only answer is the Asian barbecue glazed salmon. Now, do you think I chose to eat it here or in the dining car? What do you think? Place your bets now. I'll wait. Well, the answer is the diner, of course. Let's take a look at this salmon. It's good, pretty good. Good spice, good barbecue sauce. And this train has been rocking quite a bit in this section. So it's a bit of a challenge to eat like this. Don't pour all the wine because it'll slosh out. Fish is a little tough. I'm getting mighty tired of this salad, but the taste, can't beat it. We're in the capital of Texas, Austin. We'll have a few minutes to step off the train as usual, but looks nice. Can I get back on?
Sure.
The train was getting more and more behind schedule, but it looked like we'd still be on time getting into San Antonio. Next, we'll arrive there, join the Sunset Limited, and continue, experiencing the second half of this train odyssey through western Texas and the rest of the American Southwest with new views, people, and dining options. See you in part 2. Thanks for watching.